Dive into the magic of our channel. Subscribe now and unlock the portal to the enchanting world of fantasies. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Alice who was bored alongside her older sister, who was reading a book without pictures or dialogue. Suddenly, she saw a white rabbit with a pocket watch and glasses running by. Driven by curiosity, Alice stood up and followed the rabbit into its burrow. Without a second thought, she plunged into the tunnel, falling into a deep hole that led her to a wonderful and strange world. There, she found a table with a small key and a bottle that said "Drink me." Alice took a sip of the liquid and shrunk to the size of a mouse. She could then open the door on the other side of the table and enter a beautiful garden. However, she realized she had left the key on the table and couldn't reach it. She then saw a cake that said "Eat me" and did so, hoping to grow back to her normal size. Instead, she became so large that her head touched the ceiling, and she burst into tears. Her tears formed a large puddle into which the white rabbit fell when he returned to retrieve his fan and gloves. Alice helped him out of the water and returned his belongings. However, as he fanned himself, he shrank again and fell into the puddle. There, Alice met other animals swept away by the current, like a mouse, a dodo, a parrot, and an eagle. They decided to have a race to dry off, but since they all arrived at the same time, no one won, and no one lost. Alice continued to explore this world and encountered a blue caterpillar smoking a pipe, who asked her difficult questions about her identity and desires. Confused, Alice couldn't provide satisfactory answers. The caterpillar told her to eat from one side of the mushroom it was sitting on to grow and from the other side to shrink. Alice followed the instructions and regained her normal size. She then headed towards the forest, where she met the Cheshire Cat, a feline that could appear and disappear at will, sporting an exceptionally wide grin. The cat informed her that everyone in that place was mad, including herself, and pointed her in the direction of the Mad Hatter and the March Hare's house, where they were having tea with the Dormouse. Alice joined them at the table, attempting to engage in conversation, but soon grew tired of their nonsensical antics and riddles. When she asked about the time, they informed her that the clock was broken and always showed 6 o'clock, making it perpetually tea time. Alice left, thinking them to be the strangest beings she had ever encountered. She continued her journey and arrived at the Queen of Hearts' garden, ruled by an authoritarian and cruel woman who ordered the beheading of anyone who contradicted her. There, she witnessed gardeners painting the white roses red because they had mistakenly planted them, fearing the Queen's punishment. Alice assisted them, but the Queen arrived with her entourage and discovered them. The Queen ordered their heads to be chopped off, but Alice hid them and confronted the Queen. The Queen proposed playing croquet, using flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. The game was difficult and deceitful, and Alice became frustrated with the Queen and her soldiers, who were playing cards. Suddenly, a trumpet sounded, announcing the arrival of a very important witness, the White Rabbit. He brought a letter accusing the Queen of stealing tarts and called for a trial. The Queen became furious and denied the accusation, but the King insisted on a trial. Acting as the judge, the King called various witnesses, including the caterpillar, the hatter, the hare, and the dormouse. However, none provided any evidence and only spoke nonsensical things. Alice was the last to testify, declaring the whole affair as nonsense and asserting that the Queen had no power over her. Enraged, the Queen shouted, "Off with her head!" All the cards rushed towards Alice, who defended herself as best she could. Then she realized that it was all a dream, and her sister was calling her to go home. Alice woke up and told her sister everything she had seen and heard in Wonderland. Her sister smiled and told her she had a vivid imagination and would likely dream about that fantastical world again. Alice nodded and went home with her, thinking about the rabbit, the cat, the Queen, and all the other characters she had encountered in her adventure. If you've been fascinated by our story, get ready for an even more amazing journey. Subscribe now and unlock the door to a world of unparalleled emotions. Don't miss a single moment of this experience. Click subscribe and live the magic in every story. Your adventure begins on our channel.